Good morning, guys. Welcome to my replay viewers. Thank you guys so much for jumping in and checking out my broadcast. Sorry I missed you live, but so glad you guys took some time to check it out. What is up to my live crew this morning? Great to see you all this morning and so glad to have you here. I appreciate you guys coming in to hang out with me on this Tuesday morning. Good morning to you, Tasha. Thanks for coming in, my friend. Sherry, what's up, girl? Thanks for coming in. Brian, what's up, man? Thanks for coming in. Alexis, good morning to you. Tracy, good morning to you. Tony, nice to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming in as well. I appreciate all you guys. We're going to have a chat this morning about trolls and haters. The ugly that comes out with putting yourself out there in the world. It's a real thing. Those of you guys that have been broadcasters, for whether you've been broadcasting for a long period of time or whether you're just getting started, you've probably dealt with this on some level. Those of us that have been broadcasting for a long period of time have dealt with trolls at an incredible level. Alexis could probably attest to that. Sherry, I think you're really starting to get hit with it. Really just what it boils down to, guys, is the higher the level, the bigger the devil. And the devil definitely comes out when you start letting your voice be heard and you start getting out there and sharing what the Lord has put on your heart to share. So trolls are real. Haters are real. You are going to encounter them. Thank you so much for that, Sherry. Appreciate you. You're going to encounter them on some level at some point, no matter what, no matter who you are. And and this topic is on my mind because I would say about the past week, I've been hearing a lot of people talking about trolls, broadcasters that I know of, people that are fairly new to sharing and broadcasting and posting, and I'm seeing a lot of this coming up. So I just want to have a discussion about it. I want to just share with you some of my experiences of interacting and dealing with trolls, some of the techniques and tips that I can give you that I've found to be the most effective. And I just kind of want to just talk this out a little bit this morning. So good morning to all of you guys. It is Candid Coffee Chat. I decided to sit in my office this morning because my broadcast tends to go out a little bit cleaner when I use all of this versus when I just use my phone. So I just want to make sure this message really gets out loud and clear and gets out to all the platforms that need to hear it this morning. So cheers and good morning to you. Feel free to grab your pen and paper. I am going to give you some notes and I will be right back with you. All right, hang tight. All right, y'all. That is who I am. That is what I do. Justin Kaplan Pro is my name. JustinKaplanPro.com is my website. I am a startup business mentor and a branding strategist that specializes in helping startup entrepreneurs turn your passion, your gifting, your ideas into a profitable and scalable brand, leveraging the power of social media marketing. If you are new to me, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you're checking me out for the first time on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you are, I'd love for you to follow along and subscribe. I'm super glad that you're here. I appreciate your time, and I promise today I will not waste 1 second of it. Steely, what's up, my friend? Thanks for coming in. So let's dive right into this topic. We're going to talk today about trolls and haters and how to handle the ugly that comes along with putting yourself out there. Shirley, great morning to you. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. So how many of y'all have dealt with this? How many of y'all have dealt with trolls and with haters on some level? I know I've seen quite a few comments from people in the past few days. Obviously, probably the last week, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about this, and I don't know if there's like a new wave of the trolls happening. I have not been hit with trolls honestly in quite some time. It used to be huge, right, Celia? So I know Alexis, are you getting trolls currently with your broadcast through HAPS and the platforms? Sherry, I would like to know with you, where are you experiencing the trolls? Are you experiencing them on HAPS? Are you experiencing them on Facebook? Where can you tell me where those are coming from? Most of the people that I've been hearing from over the past week or so, it's been coming from Facebook. A lot of it's been coming from Facebook. So YouTube. So Sherry's been getting it on YouTube. Tony, I agree. It is a part of social media. Absolutely, it is. It's something that's going to happen. It's going to be something that you're going to encounter Mostly Facebook, Alexis. All right, that's good to know. I have not experienced a lot of troll. I actually haven't experienced any trolls at all from Haps since we've been rolling on Haps for the past couple of months. I've had some on Facebook here and there. Periscope used to be huge, right? So, man, I tell you what, yo, I think those of us that have been streaming for years, like I've been streaming for 5.5 years. There was a season with Periscope, man, where it was so bad. And there actually used to be something called troll trains. And what would happen was there was actually Twitter communities. There was actually Twitter communities that were being founded and building up communities just to be trolls, to go into people's broadcasts and to derail people's broadcasts. And you could go on, you could look these people up, and you could find them on Twitter, and there would be people that would build a community of tens of thousands of people it was just a troll. You could actually apply to be a troll with some of these communities. And what would happen was, Lord help you if the leader or one of the leaders of one of those groups would happen into your broadcast. What they would do is they would come into your Periscope broadcast and they would share it. And as soon as they would share it, your room would fill up with trolls, and it was impossible to continue. It was impossible to continue. It was crazy. I mean, I remember the first time I experienced this. There was, Periscope days. There was times where, you would have the occasional troll come in, people that would just drop in just negative stuff, and I would just swipe and block them. I would just ignore them, swipe and block. You just get used to just swipe and block. And it was a block party, right? It just kind of became a thing. And, it was like block party, and we would just block people. And then Periscope was trying to combat the issue. So Periscope started giving moderation privileges to the viewers. So if there was something that came through, you could say inappropriate or whatever. And then if enough people did that, then it would block it. But I remember the first time I was doing a broadcast, and I was pretty early on Periscope. I was within my first year. I'd say probably 6 months or so in. And I was still trying to get comfortable, right? I still wasn't fully in my skin. I still wasn't fully confident in navigating through all the things that happen in a live stream. I was still trying to learn. And I remember I was doing a broadcast one day, and I'm going to say I probably had 8 to 10 live viewers at the time, which to me was awesome. I had a great group that was watching me live. And I remember somebody came in, and the person that came in, I didn't recognize them, but it was a fairly normal name. And they came in, and as I always do when someone comes in, like Kim Wendy, good morning, Kim Wendy. I see your name or I see your handle. I'll be like, what's up, Shirley? Good morning. And I say good morning to you as you come in. And this person came in. I said good morning. They didn't say anything to me, but then they shared it. I said, thank you so much for that share, so-and-so. And I remember after they shared it, within like 30 seconds, I was watching my numbers. My numbers just started climbing. And I went from like 10 viewers to like 200 live viewers, like that. And the room just filled up. My numbers started going up. And at first, I was like, holy cow, who was that? Like, who just came in here? And I was excited at first as some influencer just come into my room and shared it out. I'm like, holy crap, my numbers just started going through the roof. And I'm watching the numbers climbing, and it's just started blowing up. And then here come the comments. Holy cow. Like, I can't even tell you some of the comments, man. And these people are not only ugly, but they are talented at being ugly. And man, they would just shred you. They would just tear you up. Everything they could possibly say to just, man, holy cow. Holy cow, Sylvia, I agree. Sylvia just said on Facebook, we need to prepare our kids for trolls. I think, a lot of, complete side note, but I was having a conversation about with one of my middle schoolers, just talking about some of the stuff that goes on in middle school. And middle school nowadays is the modern day troll fest, man. I mean, we're not going to go there today, but But man, but it was so crazy. It was so crazy. Like, oh yeah, like I mean, I would have, and and we'll go there. We'll talk about, Sherry said mine like to tell me how ugly I am and that I need plastic surgery, right? I would get everything from my looks to the way my voice sounds to what am I even doing in the world and I should probably kill myself, and just I mean just everything you could possibly imagine they would throw at you. And I remember that particular time, I had some great people in the broadcast trying to listen to me speak, and I was teaching through, and I'm like, and I remember just pausing. I remember just pausing for a second and just reading the comments and just watching the comments just flow, and they were flowing so fast I couldn't even read them all. And I remember looking at, and after pausing for like 2 or 3 seconds, I stopped talking. Then they started saying, "We got him. What a pussy." They started just like calling me all these different names. Like, "We got him. Look, he can't even talk. What a loser." And they're just like, and I'm like, y'all listen. I'm like, for those of you that are my people that came to hear this message today, I'm like, I am so sorry that this broadcast has been disrupted. I'm like, I cannot continue this broadcast simply because I don't want you guys to be exposed to the language that's flooded into this broadcast. So I'm going to hang this thing up. And I'm like, we'll do this broadcast another time. And then all the trolls are laughing, laugh emojis, loser, hang the broadcast up, get off the stage. And I ended up hanging it up. And that's exactly why they're there. That's exactly what trolls are there for. Lynn, good morning to you. That's exactly why they show up. They show up to shut you up and shut you down. Their mission is to get you to stop talking. Their mission is to get you to hang your broadcast up and leave. That's their goal. All right. So thank God I have never experienced trolls at that level in the recent future. And I think the majority of the social platforms have. It was because Periscope was so new at the time. Because Periscope was so new at the time, they weren't prepared for that, and they didn't even know how to handle it. Now it became a thing. Like, it was a thing. Those of us that are on Periscope back in those days, it was a virus, man, that just could not be contained, and Periscope was doing so many things to try to affect it. And it just couldn't be affected. And so they after a while they put some checks and balances in place to limit it. But still, you're going to deal with it on a certain level because you can't block everybody. You can't stop everybody. All right, but I'm going to give you a couple of thoughts on what I've learned and how I've learned to handle trolls when trolls come in. Because it is very, very, very real. Bobby, what's up, girl? Thanks for coming in. It is very, very real. And it's something that you will experience. And I think the more you, I really believe the more you put yourself out there and the more you try to leverage social media to grow your brand and share your message and expand your influence, you are going to experience trolls. And the higher you rise, the higher they're going to rise, right? It's just going to happen for you. So you need to be prepared for a few things. So I'm going to give you some thoughts on some things that I've done. First of all, one of the things that I've heard advised, in the past, I see Alexa said, I stopped the recent broadcast. I had 11 trolls on Facebook business page, had to go back and block the 11, then erase the comments, but the comments don't erase on Haps. That's interesting. Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Alexis. One of the things that I've heard advised by a lot of people when the topic of trolls comes up is I've heard people just say, just ignore them. Just go on with your broadcast and just ignore them. I disagree with that one. I don't think you can actually ignore them because this is the reason why. The reason that a troll shows up in your broadcast is to rattle you and to get you to hang your broadcast up or to disrupt your message or a combination of those things. But their mission is to be seen and to be heard and to disrupt you. That's why they're there. If you ignore them, they keep on keeping on until they accomplish their mission. And if you attempt to ignore them, from my experience, if you attempt to ignore them, the louder they get and the more disruptive they get. And this is how I've always looked at it is it's one thing if you want to attack me, but what really bothers me, I'm like, you know what? I put myself out there. So if you want to take some shots at me, take some shots at me. That's just kind of how I look at it, But what bothers me more is that I have great people hanging out with me, investing their time and energy into trying to hear my message, and you are being disruptive in my message. And you're disrupting my audience. It's not so much me, it's you're being disruptive to my audience. So my personal opinion is that ignoring doesn't work. So there's a couple ways to handle this. First of all, is I believe more than anything, your confidence, the way you carry yourself and the way you communicate amidst a troll attack is huge. Because one of the things that I found, and one of the things that I kind of found over the years that got me to a point where trolls just really stopped and started leaving me alone, is when a troll would come in and they would say something, I would give them a warning immediately, and I would acknowledge them, but I would not allow them to see me rattled. I would not allow them to see that they bothered me. So I would give them a warning. And usually this is how it would go. All right. So if I'm in here in a broadcast and I'm teaching, we're sharing, and I'm going through my stuff, and I see someone comes in, John Smith, whatever, and he comes in and he says, you got the forehead the size of a freight train. I've heard that one. My forehead's big. And so people like to talk about my forehead. And so people will come in and they automatically start calling me out. And I'm like, John, what's up, man? Buddy, listen, I'm so glad that you're in this room. But I don't tolerate negativity, and I absolutely don't tolerate any level of cussing. I'm like, so you're obviously here probably because you need this message. I'm like, so if you want to hang here and learn, I'd love to have you be here. But if you're going to be disruptive to my audience, you're going to go, man. So that's your one warning. Drop another comment that I feel is inappropriate, you're out. All right. And then I would go right back to my teaching. That was it. And I would just address the person. Now I would say it's probably a 50-50 scenario where a 50-50 scenario where in some cases 50% of the time the person that I called out wouldn't say another thing. I've had a few occasions where someone being like, all right, thanks, and then they would actually stay and watch because they actually probably did need to hear what I had to say. But then someone else would follow right up with another comment, and in which case then I immediately block them. Now the trick with that is blocking is not always that easy if you don't have the platform open right in front of you, right? So like, Sherry, if you're broadcasting through HAPS and you have someone come in to watch you on YouTube, that's not an easy block to block someone on YouTube. But what I would do, this is what I would do, is if you, man, I haven't had to block anybody on a live stream on YouTube. Does anybody have experience with YouTube live that's watching this? I'm almost positive that if you're live on YouTube, it's just like any other platform where I can tap on that person's comment and I can either delete the comment or I think I can block them from commenting. They can still watch the video, but I can block them from commenting. That's an option. The other option that you not live. We should test that, Sherry, because I believe you can do that. So what I would do is if I was dealing with this and if I found, like, for instance, like Alexis is talking about her Facebook business page. Facebook business page getting a lot of trolls. And then, like, I can't recall, Alexis, can you tell me? I can't recall if you can block people from commenting live from a Facebook business page. So what I would like to attempt, and because I haven't had to do this in a while, whatever platform for me that would be the one that tend to get the most trolls, I would have a second device open on that platform. Like for me, like when I'm broadcasting from my computer right now and I can see all the comments flowing through my screen, but then I have my Facebook broadcast on my phone in front of me. So let's say YouTube, I was getting a lot of trolls on YouTube. I would have my YouTube broadcast open right here in front of me. So then if someone comes in and starts dropping some ugly on my broadcast, I would give them a warning. And if they keep on, I would just be like, guys, just a second, I'm going to block this person. I would go right into YouTube and I would block. The other thing you can do too is you can turn off comments. Haven't blocked on Facebook business page while live. Alexis, I wonder if you can do that. That's what I'm not sure. I wonder if I have the ability. You know, I could try it right now because I'm live, actually live on all my platforms. Let me go to my business page real fast because I'd like to be able to tell you if this is possible. Sherry Capella, would you go to my Facebook business page, please, and pull up this broadcast on my Facebook business page and leave me a comment? I'd like to know if I can do something to you. Yes. Kim Wendy says I've seen people block on YouTube Live. Go to their messages, click on the three dots, and block. Yeah, I agree, Kim. I'm almost positive. I'm pretty positive it is possible on YouTube, but you would have to have your YouTube broadcast open to do that, right? So if I'm just broadcasting through Haps, I don't think I have the ability to block someone through YouTube. Now let's test the theory. Kim Wendy, can you go to my YouTube, please? Because you're on Haps with me right now, I believe. Can you go to YouTube, pull up this broadcast on my YouTube channel, and go in there and leave me a comment through YouTube? And I'm going to see if I can block it right here through Haps. I would be very curious to see if I could do that. Yeah, absolutely. And Facebook user, I can't see your name at the moment because I'm not watching through Facebook. But said, I remember that a troll person would sometimes get blocked by accident, or a non-troll person. Yeah, because a broadcaster like on Periscope, you'd be trying to like block all the negativity. Thank you, Kim. I see that comment. So Kim just commented on YouTube. So I'm going to click on that. All right. So what I get on YouTube is I get the option to mute user. That's interesting. I wonder what happens. I'm guessing if so I think what happens with Haps, you can mute, block, and ban on a Facebook page. Aha. That's good to know. So you can mute, block, and ban. I wonder what the difference between block and ban is. Because I would think block would be they're blocked from seeing anything. Ban would be you're not allowed on my page ever. Can you do that while you're live, though, Alexis? That's the question. So from Kim Wendy, Kim just commented on YouTube. So I can click on her comment and I can click on mute user. So probably what would happen is if I mute user, that is going to, thank you, Kim. You can come back to Haps if you'd like now. Yeah. So I think what would happen, Kim, is I believe it would mute your comments from coming through my feed here. So any future comments that you dropped on this broadcast, I would not see those comments come through. They would still happen on YouTube, I believe, but I wouldn't see them come through. It's basically like turning off your audio so you can't talk to me. But it doesn't let me block you. You're on Haps and YouTube. Okay. But I believe if I'm on YouTube, let me go to my own YouTube thing real quick. So on Haps, Kenyetta, what's up, girl? Thanks for coming in. So let me go into my live on YouTube. So Kim commented. Kim commented here on YouTube. So I have the option to remove the comment. I can put the user in timeout. I wonder what that means. Put the user in timeout, or I can report it. So I'm guessing putting the user in timeout on YouTube would basically just make you unable to comment. Let me try. I guess I'll just try it. Let me just put user in timeout. I put you in time. I put you in timeout, Kim. Kim Wendy was timed out by Justin for 300 seconds. Was that 5 minutes? So I timed you out for 5 minutes? I mean, I'm guessing if a troll really wanted to be a troll, 5 minutes would seem like a lifetime. They're probably not going to hang out. So I can time you out. That's interesting. I haven't seen Sherry come to business page yet. But that's interesting. So anyway, so the first thing I would just tell you is that I personally don't feel that ignoring works. I personally don't feel like ignoring works. I really want to try this, but I also don't want to stall my broadcast here. So we're just going to keep on rolling. I want to get back to my comments so I can see all my comments. Alexa says, I don't know, would definitely need another device. I tried the other day, but wasn't successful and took up too much time. Yeah, see, that's the thing is you want to get yourself to a point where this becomes a flawless process. And you also, so Kim says now, because I put her in timeout, she said when she tries to comment, she says you've been placed in timeout. That's funny. Now my Facebook broadcast isn't even showing up on my personal page. Oh, there I am. All right. So, all right, we're back. So the adventure is calling you, Justin. That's right. All right. So the first thing I would tell you again, the mission of a troll is to disrupt you and to shut you up. So if you attempt to just ignore them, then they're gonna. From my experience, they push harder. They keep trying to go harder to be disruptive to you as possible until they eventually rattle you. Okay. So ignoring, in my opinion, doesn't work. So what I've found to be the most effective method is as soon as a troll shows up, as soon as they drop that first comment, to call it right out. There's no sense in trying to ignore it because everyone that's watching you live also sees the comment, right? I mean, so if someone comes in here and makes a comment and it's just ugly and they talk about whatever they want, they say how ugly I am or how stupid I am or how my voice sounds funny or whatever they say, everyone else sees it. So if you ignore it, it's almost like the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. It's like, it's here. So I found the most effective method is to call it straight out. So Maggie, what's up, girl? So if Maggie comes in, let's say Maggie comes in, Maggie's a troll. Maggie's absolutely not a troll, of course. Let's say Maggie comes in and Maggie drops some awful comment and be like, Maggie, what's up, girl? Listen, I appreciate you being here. Again, I'm going to go back to what I said. Confidence is huge. Confidence in yourself is huge. The way you carry yourself, because again, remember their mission. Their mission is to disrupt you. Their mission is to rattle you. Okay, so if Maggie drops in here and says something ugly about me, how I hate your sweatshirt, your logo's stupid, or whatever, I'll be like, Maggie, what's up? I'm so glad you're here. Listen, I appreciate you spending some time with us this morning. You obviously need to hear this message, so I'm going to give you one chance. All right, I don't tolerate trolls in my room. So if you want to hang out and learn from me, I'd love to have you learn something. If you want to continue to be ugly and disruptive, then you're going to have to go. So that's your one shot. Drop another comment that's inappropriate, and you're out of here. All right, and then I would go right back to teaching. So what I want to accomplish with that troll is I want that troll to be like, well, there's no way I'm going to rattle this guy. I'm out of here. And usually I think that would leave. I want to show them that I'm not bothered by the fact that you're here. And that's basically what I'm sending them. Jalila, what's up, man? I know you just dealt with this recently, so I'm glad you're here, buddy. Basically what I wanted to show them is you're not going to rattle me. I'm not bothered by the fact that you're here, but I will not allow you to be disruptive to my audience. So if you want to continue to hang out and learn, you're welcome to do so. If you want to be disruptive, then you're gone. And confidence is big. The way you carry yourself is big, okay? Ignoring, in my opinion, does not work. I would not recommend ignoring them. I would recommend you call them straight out for what they are. Tell them they got one shot to clean it up, or they can go away. The other thing that you can do, which I have, I guess my second point is get comfortable with blocking and moderating. All right. So again, this is something that we're kind of testing this. We're kind of testing if your trolls are coming from YouTube, how do you deal with those? What's the method there? So with YouTube, if you got a lot of people coming through YouTube that are being trolls, then I would have a second device open to YouTube. And if you have a comment come through that's on YouTube while you're live, you can put them on timeout, which makes them stop commenting. If you've got people that majority of your trolls are coming from your business page, then open up a second device while you're broadcasting and have that device open with that platform open. That way, if somebody comes in and starts dropping comments on your business page, then you can either block them, ban them, or mute them or something. I can't remember what the other one is, but you can address them right there. But that's something that's a part of getting comfortable as a live streaming, is being able to navigate through those things. And I would tell you this, don't be afraid to pause your message for a second to deal with the troll. because again, it's disruptive to your audience. Tiffany, what's up, girl? So if John Smith comes in and drops a comment right now in the middle of I'm teaching you some really good stuff, and I see this comment, be like, you know what, guys, just hang out for a second. I want to talk to this guy. So John, what's up, man? Listen, not cool. Not going to sit here and listen to you try to rattle me. You're not going to rattle me, but I'm also not going to allow you to disrupt my audience. So that's your one shot. You can hang out and learn, but if you're going to continue to be disruptive, you're going to have to go. So hang out, learn if you want to, but I'm not going to tolerate the bad language or whatever. And Alexa says also tell them to politely X out. Yes, and again, it's your confidence. It's confidence. Remember that when trolls come in, when haters come in, their mission is to rattle you. So there's a fine line between being polite and being a little bit intense. And because whatever your power pose is, you got to put that on when you're dealing with a troll. Because if they feel like you are weak and if they feel like they can get to you, they will stay. They're not going to leave just because you asked them to. But if they feel like, well, I'm not going to be able to get to you, then I'm going to go find someone else that I can bother. All right. And not everyone will leave. Sometimes they'll hang out. That's where I say you have to get comfortable with blocking. The other thing that I have done in the past, which used to be highly effective, Rebecca says, if I only have a smartphone, how can I access these options? So, Rebecca, it depends on where you're broadcasting from. And thank you for the question. Are you broadcasting from HAPS or are you broadcasting straight to another platform like Facebook or like YouTube or whatever? Rebecca, please let me know where you're broadcasting, how you're broadcasting, and I can answer that question for you. The other thing that I've done in the past, and I started doing this because of Periscope and because how bad the trolls were on Periscope for such a long period of time, is I would have an admin. I would have an admin go with my accounts, and at the time, my admin was my wife. And so what I would do is every single time that I would do a live broadcast, Courtney would actually take her phone and she would log into my Periscope profile from her phone. And then when I would go live, Rebecca, I see that in just a second, okay? When I would go live, I'd be live on Periscope. Courtney would go into my live broadcast as me, and so she would have the authority to block as me while I'm streaming. And so she would work as my admin. And so I would basically be teaching, and if someone would ever drop a comment, I wouldn't even have to do anything because Courtney would be in there watching. As soon as anybody said anything that was inappropriate, she would automatically swipe and block them and kick them out of the broadcast, and I wouldn't even acknowledge them. And that worked for a long period of time. So that, again, that might be something if you've got someone that can support you in that way. If you're broadcasting like Rebecca, for instance, Rebecca's broadcasting from HAPS. So if you're on HAPS, you're probably going to multiple platforms, but you might be streaming from your phone. So if you're streaming from your phone, it's a little harder to navigate through all this because it's on your phone. So with your phone, what you can do is when you're streaming and your comments are coming through, you can tap comments and you can I gotta think about this for a second. So if I tap on you, I can mute a user or I can block you, right? So Rebecca, being that you're on HAPS, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody who broadcasts all the time from a phone, but I believe what happens is as comments are coming through, if there's a comment that comes through your feed while you are talking, you can click, as soon as the comment comes through, you can tap on that comment. If that person is on HAPS, you can block them on HAPS and they'll be kicked out of your broadcast and they won't be able to do anything with you ever again. If they're not on HAPS, you can mute the user, right? So if a comment comes through Facebook or a comment comes through YouTube, you can tap on that comment and you can mute the user while you're broadcasting, which basically just means you're not going to see those comments come through your feed anymore. So you can continue on with your broadcast, not seeing any more of those comments. Those comments will still show up on whatever platform they are on. So if they're on YouTube, those comments will still show up on YouTube, but you won't see them while you're streaming, and it won't be a distraction to you and your message you're trying to get out. And then what you can do is after the fact, once the broadcast is over, then you can go over to YouTube, delete the comments, and block the user. That would be the best way to handle it. Rebecca, please let me know if that makes sense to you, okay? Because that's tricky. But having an admin is super helpful. So if you have a spouse or a friend of yours or a peer of yours that you guys can support each other in your broadcast, when you go live, let's say Alexis, for example, Alexis, if you broadcast every single day at the same time, you might reach out to one of your friends or your peers or someone and be like, would you be willing to admin for me while I do my stream? And I'll admin for you while you do your stream or something. And you might be able to have someone log into your business page or make them an admin on your business page on Facebook, if that's where all the trolls are happening, Alexis. And then while you're doing your broadcast, they can watch your broadcast and be an admin for you. And that way, if any comments come up through your Facebook business page, they can block those people or ban those people while you're streaming, and you won't even have to deal with it. So that's a very effective way to deal with it, and that's something that I found to be super helpful because, again, they're trying to be disruptive. So if you can put mechanisms in place that protect your focus and allow someone else to kind of handle that, you're so welcome, Rebecca. Let someone else handle that for you. That way you can just focus on what you're trying to get out. That can be super, super helpful. The other thing that I will tell you this is we all know we've all heard the phrase hurting people hurt people, right? Rejected people try to reject people. Humiliated people try to humiliate people. Broken people try to break other people. That's the name of the game. Now, one of the things that I encountered, I can't even tell you when this was. It was on Periscope, but it was a while after I had been already in play for a while, and the trolls had kind of settled down a bit. I had one particular guy, his name was Travis, and he used to come into my broadcast every day. And every single day he would come into my broadcast, and he would come in. I would see his name, and it's Travis. Travis would come in, and as soon as Travis would come in the room, he would say the exact same comment every single day as soon as he would come in. He would come in. Oh, there's Travis. And he would comment and give it 5 seconds, and here it was. And he would comment, and he would say, "You look like an overactive teenage lesbian." He would say that to me every day. And I would call him out, "Travis, thanks for coming in this morning, man. I'm not going to tolerate the language. I don't appreciate the comment. That's your one shot. You can hang out, listen if you want to. Otherwise, you're going to have to go." I would say that every single day. And he would hang out, and occasionally he would drop random comments here and there. But he was never so ugly or so disruptive. For whatever reason, I just called him out and I just dealt with him, and that was it. But then one particular broadcast, he came in, he dropped the same comment, "Justin, you look like an overactive teenage lesbian." I'm like, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? And I'm like, and I was a little bit more irritated that particular day than I usually was. So once the broadcast was over, I think I blocked him that day, if I recall. Then once the broadcast was over, I went back in and I unblocked him because I wanted to go look at his profile. I'm like, what's so funny is these people that come in and they troll us broadcasters, but they have no idea how much courage and focus and discipline it takes to actually do consistent broadcasting, right? I'm like, who are you? What are you doing? Oh, I remember that particular day he irritated me. He said, "Your live streams really suck. I really hate them." I'm like, well, why are you coming in here? Like, if you hate them so much, why are you even coming in here? So I'm like, what are you doing in the world? And so I remember after the broadcast was over, I unblocked him and I went to check out his profile. I looked at his profile. He had only ever done 2 streams in his life, no bio. His profile picture sucked. And I'm like, what is his streams? So I went in and clicked on one of his streams, and this whole story is funny. I clicked on his stream. In this stream, he's literally he's an overweight dude. All right, younger guy. I say he's probably in his early 20s. He's an overweight dude, and he's sitting on his couch, and he's got like this raggedy tank top on. He's sitting on his couch, and he's just kind of holding the phone like this, and he's just kind of like looking at it, and he's not talking to the phone at all. He's just kind of like sitting there, and this is live. I mean, this is a live video. He's sitting there, and the angle's all wrong. It just looks terrible. And then his cat comes over and like sits on his lap and like pets the cat. And then he like gets up and he's like walking around his house and stuff. And I could tell by the decorations it wasn't his house. Because there's like family pictures on the wall and there's like floral wallpaper. I'm like, you live with your freaking mom. I'm like, you're in your 20s and you're living with your mom. And I'm guessing what was going on was he went live, and I think what he was watching the phone, I think he was waiting for someone to come in. I think he was waiting for someone to actually come in and watch his broadcast, and nobody was coming in. So he's just kind of meandering around his house, his mom's house. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, I've seen everything I need to see about this guy. So the next day, I go live. I'm like, I'm going to watch out for Travis. And so the next day, here I go live again, and here comes Travis. Bing, Travis into my broadcast again. There he is. So he comes in as soon as he had the ability to comment. I'm like, Travis, good morning, man. It's nice to see you this morning. I'm like, waiting for your comment, buddy. Let's see what you got this morning. Let's see if you can do anything better than what you normally throw at me. And here he comes with the exact same comment again. You look like an overactive teenage lesbian. I said, all right, Travis, listen up, man. I said, audience, hang out for a second. I just want to introduce you to Travis. All right. Travis has been with us for a while. He shows up every single day. I said, Travis, I took some time to check you out yesterday, buddy. I said, I'm pretty good on the web and I'm pretty good at digging into people's lives. And said, I dug into you a little bit yesterday. I said, so turns out, guys, that Travis is actually a live streamer. I said, I'd love for you guys to click on his profile and check it out. He's got some live streams on there. I said, but Travis had checked out your profile yesterday. I said, this is what I can gather from you, man. You're unhappy. You hate where you're at in your life. You're obviously still living with your mom, probably in her basement. You probably have no goals whatsoever. You're existing, looking for ways to make yourself feel better by bringing others down. I'm not going to be that person for you. You're not going to be able to make yourself feel better by attacking me. So this is what I would encourage you with. I would encourage you to hang up the garbage. I would encourage you to continue coming in and joining into my broadcast every single day, because I think if you actually shut up for a second and listen, you might actually learn something. I'm like, so I'd love for you to hang out, learn something from me. This literally will be your last shot to get anything from me whatsoever. I said, because if you drop one more negative comment on any of my broadcasts ever, I will block you forever. And I don't believe there's going to be too many people in your life that are going to give you a second chance the way I am today. So I encourage you to hang out and learn and stay with us, because I'd love to actually teach you something that you can use to better your life a little bit. All right, let's get to our content today. And I left it like that. And I went in through my content, and he didn't say a thing, but he didn't leave. And I know he didn't leave because once I went and checked out his profile, I followed him. And for the people that I followed, it would show their faces at the bottom of the screen. So I could see he stayed in the room, but he didn't see anything. He didn't say anything else the rest of the broadcast. I went all the way through the rest of the broadcast. And at that time, I used to finish my broadcast, and then I would do an after party. After party was basically a time just to hang out with my audience. They could ask questions, and I would interact with my audience. So I went into the after party, and I had some people asking me some questions, and I could still see that he was in here. And so I'm like, Travis, listen, man, I see that you hung out. Did you learn something today, buddy? I'm glad you stayed to learn. And he's like, yes, I did. And then he said to me, excuse my language, but he said, I'm sorry for being shitty earlier, is what he said to me in the comments. Nazim, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you coming in. And I'm like, listen, Travis, I said, there's no problem, man. Listen, I understand there's something going on with you, and you're working through that. I'm like, but I sincerely encourage you, man, to try to start listening to what I'm sharing and start applying what I'm teaching. And I really do believe you could actually start doing something with your life. And I'm like, it just takes one step at a time. And if you need my help, feel free to reach out to me. And he's like, all right, thank you. And that's all I said. And then every single day from that point in time, he would come into my broadcast, and all he would say is, good morning, Justin. He'd say, good morning, Justin. That was it. And he would stay through the entire broadcast, but he wouldn't say anything else. So this went on for probably a couple months. This went on for probably a couple months of him just coming in. Good morning, Justin. That was it. And he was always there. And eventually I ended up getting an email from him. And he sent me this big, long email. He said, Justin, I just want you to know you've really impacted my life. He's like, you don't know this about me, but I am a substitute school teacher. I I barely graduated high school. I went to college. I flunked out of college. I'm struggling to make anything of my life. You're right. I do still live with my parents. I barely make any money whatsoever. And I'm just really unhappy with where I'm at. He's like, but so much of what you've shared and taught has really helped me realize that I am capable of more and I'm committed to doing more with my life. And I just want to thank you for giving me a chance to actually try to be better. He's like, so you've made me better and I'm going to be better. And, he just basically just told me he's going to try to do something better with his life. And, I don't know what came of Travis. He actually sent me a friend request on Facebook, and we're still friends on Facebook. I've looked him up recently, and I can't tell from his Facebook page what he's actually doing. But I thought that was pretty cool. And unfortunately, I can't tell you that I've been able to convert, masses of trolls into good people. But that's one, and for me, that one was enough for me to change my perception a bit of how to handle these folks. And I think that's why I handle them the way I do, where again, I don't ignore them. I every single time, if anybody ever drops anything negative to me, I will always give them a chance, one chance. And so if someone comes in that's a troll, or somebody says something, I address it. What's going on? So glad you're here. Glad you took some time to hang out with us this morning. I'm not going to tolerate that. You obviously need to improve something in your life. So I encourage you to take some time to actually listen to what I'm sharing today and see if that might be able to happen for you. But if you drop another comment, you're out of here. That's your one shot. I'm going to give you one shot. And I try to approach it that way. And that has worked tremendously for me. Just saying that has worked tremendously for me. Does it work on every one of them? Nope. You still have people that would continue to try to rally and be like, all right, well, I'm just going to block you then. And I would block them and they'd be gone. But I don't know. They're still people, And again, I try to remember hurting people, hurt people, rejected people, reject people. People that have been abused in their life tend to spread abuse. They're just you just never know. And Chris says I would block instantly as they aren't interested in the stream. Well, that's the thing, Chris, is with Travis coming in and dropping negative, nasty comments to me. The thing is he's so focused. He was so focused on trying to disrupt me. He wasn't actually even listening to what I was talking about. But then once I called him out and said, listen, I challenge you to actually do something with your life. You're obviously miserable. You're obviously unhappy. You're obviously, in your 20s and still living with your mom. If you actually want to do something with your life, I encourage you to sit and actually listen to what I'm sharing. And it might actually do something for you. And from that point on, he actually started listening to my broadcast and started actually applying what I was learning. So from that perspective, Chris, when they first come in, yeah, they're there to rattle you. They're there to disrupt you. But you know what I found? The broadcast that I have found that would get the most trolls and the most haters were the ones that I was talking about something from my faith and I was sharing the word of the Lord, or I was talking about something that was, personal or spiritual, and people just loved to come in and just try to disrupt a Christian broadcast or a faith broadcast or a spiritual broadcast when you really have something important to share and something meaningful to share. So I don't know. That's a few things. So again, I'm just going to give you a recap. In my personal opinion, ignoring a troll does not work because, again, their mission is to disrupt you. So if you ignore them, they're going to try harder and they're going to do what they can to disrupt you. Secondly, confidence is huge. How you convey yourself, how you present yourself, how you carry yourself in your broadcast is huge, because if they view you as someone that they're not going to be able to rattle, they're going to leave. If their mission is to rattle you and they realize, I don't think I'm going to be able to rattle Justin, they're going to leave, which I think is probably a lot of why I don't get trolls, because I don't think people think that they can rattle me, and they can't, honestly. I mean, I'm to the point now where I'm comfortable. I'm very comfortable on a live stream. I know how to handle all the technology, and someone that comes in with their ugly just doesn't affect me. I'm like, I'd love for you to stay, but if you can't be mature and contain yourself, then you're gonna have to go. So confidence in how you carry yourself is huge. Again, get comfortable with blocking. So if you've got a particular platform that's experiencing a lot of trolls, get comfortable figuring out what it actually takes to block people on that platform. I love Haps so far, and I was even thinking for that question. I love Haps. I think Haps is awesome. I'd love for them to sort out some of the glitchiness that they've got going on, but I think they're working on that. But I really, really do enjoy Haps very, very much. Thank you for asking. Again, using an admin is a great way to moderate. If you got someone that can work with you through your stream and can open up one of your other profiles on a secondary device and operate as an admin for you, that would be fantastic, and that will really take a lot of pressure off you as a broadcaster trying to manage that as you go along. And then again, when you see or feel an opportunity, if you've got someone like, for me, whenever I would have a repeat troll, someone who kept coming back like Travis, I would try to just engage them and try to figure out what's really going on in their world, because there's something that's got them keeping coming back. So if you have the opportunity to actually just call someone out and, tell them, listen, I took some time to check you out, and looks like you can actually use some of what I'm sharing. I'd love for you to learn and stay, but I'm not going to tolerate I'm not going to tolerate you being disrespectful. So, call them right out and see what happens with that. But that y'all is some of the best advice that I can give you about handling trolls. Again, remember that trolls and haters are a part of the territory. And I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to tell you that I believe that if you are creating content and you're doing streams and you're not experiencing some level of pushback, you're not experiencing some level of trolls or haters or negativity, it's probably going to come sooner than later. But don't be afraid of it, because I think if you are not experiencing trolls, you may not be being real enough. Because I think when you are truly, authentically, and genuinely you're going to have people that don't like you. That's just human nature. If you are being truly, authentically, unapologetically you and sharing what you believe you have to share unapologetically, you're going to deal with people that don't like you. I think what happens to a lot of people is because a lot of people are afraid of trolls, afraid of having to deal with trolls, they try to dilute their message, or they try to I don't know, you try to adapt or try to fit everyone's idea of what they want you to be. And if you're constantly trying to fit a mold that's not genuine and that's not authentic, you'll get exhausted eventually, and you're not truly operating in your gifting if you're trying to be something you're not. Leo says trolls and haters mean you're doing it right. I agree. I think if you're experiencing trolls, if you're experiencing haters, you're doing something right. That's kind of how I look at it. But you still have to get comfortable with the process of managing them and working through those. So, guys, hopefully that's helpful for you today. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your comments, your interaction. I know this is a tough subject for a lot of people and people trying to figure out how to navigate this, but I super appreciate you guys' time and hanging out with me this morning. 54 minutes of your time is so incredibly valuable. So I appreciate you guys spending your time with me this morning. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Guys, keep up your messaging, keep up your broadcasting, keep doing your thing. I super appreciate you guys hanging with me this morning. Get out, do you, and I will see you guys all around the web. All right, take care. God bless. I'll see you guys later.